Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the Luke Pipala Show. Shad wasn't able to make it to this one, so it's just another solo episode. And there's been a lot that's gone on in the news in the past couple of days, so we are just going to get into it. Here we go. So, there's a lot of talk about what's going to happen with TikTok. It's been throughout, I would like to say, the past month or so. There's been this talk that TikTok's going to get banned in the United States of America. And the United States government has cited Chinese spyware, right? They're spying on Americans' information for what they never tell us, because it's all a lie. But nevertheless, this is what they're saying. So right here, man, we're talking about it. We're looking at it. TikTok plans to shut down immediately in the U.S. on Sunday when the ban takes effect. So this is this Sunday. Right now, it's the 15th of January. They're saying it's going to be this Sunday. So the interesting thing right here, man, is it says the app won't even work when it's installed. And the users will be redirected to a website providing details about the ban. So this is insane. It is in my opinion, and we can talk about opinions, but in my opinion, they're not banning it for the reasons that they're telling you. What's my reasoning for that? Why am I saying that? We could look at different things, but the main reason is because kids our age are seeing what's happening to the kids in Palestine, to the kids overseas, right? I'm not going to take a position. I'm not one to take a position when it comes to things that I don't know. However, I do know what a burnt baby looks like thanks to places like TikTok, thanks to places like X, but mostly TikTok. I mean, you see all of the rubble, all of the damage, the destruction that war does, and at a certain point, man, it's pretty telling. Regardless of what you think, the death on the Palestinian side, it's just horrific, and it's something that kids, especially because kids are the ones that are the dominating force on TikTok. Kids are the ones that are seeing this, and the public, the overlords, they don't like it. I mean, would you like it if your side was being publicly bashed continuously on the number one social media dominated by young kids? I don't think you would. So what am I saying though? What am I referencing? How am I referencing this? Am I misinformed? The point is, there's a lot of hashtags, and we'll put this up right now. So there's a reason why TikTok is being banned in America, and it's because it's exposing the atrocities of the war that's going on in the Middle East between Israel and Palestine. Okay? And like I said, I've seen too many burnt babies online, and too many victims of missiles and bombs and everything, allegedly on the Palestinian side, from the Israel side, right? Now, again, could be misinformed. Don't want to talk about things that I'm not really informed on. However, if you just look over here, okay, we have this on the screen. So this is the top opinionated Israel-Hamas TikTok hashtags, okay? So this is why they're banning it, right? You see the number of views in the 7 days to December 22nd, 2023. Free Palestine had 82.6 million, followed by the Free Palestine with the Palestine flag, and then the Red Heart, 3.4 million, or 35.4 million, excuse me, and then the list goes on and on. Only one that had to do with Israel at 2 million. One hashtag, I stand with Israel, 2 million. And so maybe you're a little bit skeptical. But this, in my opinion, is why they're banning it, because they want to get this other perspective completely out. They want to shove their perspective so far down your throat. It's insane, man. It is absolutely insane. Why? But this is the real reason. Okay, so people are saying in the comments, right? Oh, they're saying, this is the only thing that people in Congress can agree on is how to protect Israel, right? In the comments, but once again, we're going to go to another video here. I'm trying to look for it, so bear with me. But it's videos like these on TikTok, which is why they're trying to ban it once again, okay? You look at this, right? Look at this. I don't want to put the sound on here because I might get copyright. But look at this, man. This is the damage and destruction in Gaza. And so when this is being shared, right, we're going to put this right here. But when this is being shared and people are seeing this, it's really opening their eyes to reality, and then what the mainstream media and even what people online media, independent media, is talking about things like people like Ben Shapiro, for example, people like mostly everybody at the Daily Wire. And it's crazy how if you step out against this particular occupation, this particular country, it really shows who the real censorship in media is when you really look at this. I mean, look at this, man. This is tragic. All right, we're going to stop because I don't want to see any more of that. But that's the point, man. That's why they're banning TikTok, because the kids are waking up. And I guarantee you, if you had TikTok 20 years ago, 25 years ago, well, technically 24 years ago, roughly, when 9/11 happened and planes hit the towers, right? And then all the propaganda starts. Okay, we got to go into Iraq. They got weapons of mass destruction, right? If there were actual videos to prove that this wasn't the case, and there were actual videos of what we were actually doing, like more than the ones that came out, right? I know there was a couple, but more than the ones that came out. If there were actual videos to prove that everything was going on, I guarantee you we would have been out of Iraq a lot faster, because the population wouldn't have approved. The approval rating would have been in the tank. And so when you take a look at this, when you take a look at the hashtags, when you take a look at the videos, it's very apparent that this is why they're taking TikTok away, not for some bullshit Chinese spot. It doesn't matter. There's no point. This is why, because they want to shield you. They want to take away the information that's being shown, all of the stuff you're seeing. They don't want these young kids to have an uprising and then have an entire generation against Israel. It's just stupid. It's stupid that they're taking away free speech. They're doing the same thing that they're saying they're destroying. And so that's just, yeah, it's the grand hypocrisy of this whole thing of America. We're supposed to have freedom of speech, but then you pull shit like this. It's just very hypocritical. And we'll see if they ban TikTok, if they don't ban TikTok. I personally don't think they're going to ban it. I know Trump's been talking about they're not going to ban it. He's going to try and file an extension. Will he not? Will he? I don't know. I don't know if he has that power per se. He's, like I said, it's going to be really early in his presidency. So it'll be very, very interesting. But touching on that again, we're reading this from the New York Post. We love the Post because it's free. This New York Post article, if I could get this ad out of the way. Here we go. It says TikTok may get... hold on. Another ad. Here we go. It says TikTok may get reprieve from Trump over U.S. ban after vow to go dark on Sunday. Here we go. President-elect Donald Trump may throw TikTok a lifeline after the popular video sharing app reportedly vowed to go dark when the national ban goes into effect Sunday. Trump, whose inauguration will be held Monday, is considering issuing an executive order that would prevent environment of the law for 60 to 90 days, the Washington Post reported Wednesday. The newspaper did not say how Trump could legally do so. Maybe because he can, I don't know. The Trump transition team did not have an immediate comment. The law signed in April mandates a ban on new TikTok downloads on Apple or Google app stores if Chinese parent ByteDance fails to divest the site. And so that was the whole controversy, was they were gonna unconstitutionally, in my opinion, in the opinion of a lot of people on the internet, in the world, in the United States in general, were going to unconstitutionally force ByteDance and the CEO of ByteDance to sell TikTok. And there's talk about, the Waltons, the Walmart family was maybe gonna buy it, but ultimately that never went through. So, continuing on here. The news of a possible stay for TikTok came hours after the Supreme Court did not issue an opinion on the federal law. Meanwhile, TikTok is reportedly planning to pull the plug on the app if the ban goes into effect as expected, which is crazy, first off. The roughly 170 million users who try to access the app will be greeted with a pop-up message directing them to a website. It's a porn website. I'm just kidding. Then given the option to download their data from the app according to the information, which is nuts. Which is absolutely crazy. Insane. So continuing on here, the company's plan goes beyond the scope of the law, which still allows users who have already had the app on their phones to keep using it, which is nuts. So TikTok did not immediately respond to a request for comment. Members of Congress and the Justice Department alleged TikTok, which is owned by Beijing-based ByteDance, poses an unacceptable national security threat, capable of secretly manipulating content via its recommendation algorithm and mass data collection, such as location tracking, among other risks. TikTok has denied the allegations. Real quick, do we even know that these allegations are real? It's a serious question, and I think it should be explored a little bit more. Let's go back right here. They're saying that members of Congress and the Justice Department allege that TikTok, which is owned by Beijing-based ByteDance, poses an unacceptable national security threat, capable of secretly manipulating content via its recommendation algorithm and mass data collection such as location tracking, among other risks. Listen to that again. Have they proven this? I do not think they have. I don't think they've proven any of this. And so it wouldn't surprise me that this is another... Sorry. It wouldn't surprise me this is another lie from the mainstream media, from Congress. I mean, Congress historically has the lowest approval rating, whether that's president, vice president, Senate, anybody. Congress is the worst. And so, I don't know. I really don't trust them on this stuff, particularly. Because think about all the lies that you've heard in the past from Congress, right, from the government. Whether it's weapons of mass destruction, whether it's things like Vietnam, whether it's the COVID vaccines, relatively recent. I wouldn't trust them. And once again, I don't know if there's any credible evidence to support this. Now, of course, TikTok's going to deny the allegations. I don't trust China. I'm not pro-China. But it's very sus. I'll say that. It's very sus. And so this is fascinating because Trump was really against TikTok in the beginning. Everybody remembers he was against TikTok. And so now, all of a sudden, he's in favor. Why? Because he's big on it and he likes attention. Of course. So right here, Trump, once a staunch critic of TikTok, has lately signed or signaled that he is opposed to the ban. His legal team has asked the Supreme Court to halt the ban from taking effect so that he can pursue a political solution. Translation, he's big on it, so he wants to keep it, of course. During oral arguments on TikTok's appeal last week, all 9 justices indicated that the national security concerns outweighed potential risk to free speech. But is there proof? That's my question. If there's proof, then go ahead. On Wednesday, the High Court issued opinions on other cases, but punted on TikTok. Okay, whatever. I don't know. Personally, and this is just a personal opinion, I think they're doing it to drastically decrease all of the footage that's being shown in Gaza. Because all this stuff is getting millions and millions of views. And we know our government's evil. We know that. They're not exactly good guys. Whether that's numerous politicians getting caught, whether that's pedophilia, whether that's just trashy things overall. I mean, there were those 2 kids, or not kids, or older than me, but those 2 staffers for the one Democratic senator that got caught. The one got caught bent over, and the other one was inserting himself into the first one, and they got caught in the Senate chambers. So these people are not good people. These people don't care about us. They don't care about you. It's just how it is. So, what are you going to do, right? What are you going to do? Here's what's funny, though. You want to talk about what's funny. So, obviously, there's people on the left that are going to complain about every single thing. I mean, why wouldn't they, right? Their lives are miserable. They just lost. They're looking for a new leader. What are you going to do? But they're flocking to this app called RedNote, which is an app controlled by China to replace TikTok, right? And right here, it says, it turns out they ban the LGBTQ content. What? All inappropriate outfits and only 2 genders. So this is it. This is that app, RedNote. And this is only 2 genders when you sign up. So it's either the male or the female. And that's funny. All the people are owning them in the comments. But I want to see if there's... That's really fascinating, though, because it's just ironic that, I mean, they've promoted this thing for however many years, and their ideology, the wokeism, the whole woke ideology is being turned on them. It says right here, alternative RedNote is banning LGBTQ plus related content and accounts. Wow. Think about being a liberal, like, right now. Not even a liberal, because I respect the liberals, but, like, the ultra woke. Think about being an ultra woke person now. how do you go on? How do you? I mean, you're posting that you're posting something from Impact, that Instagram account, a couple times a week. You're probably fat, probably have a couple cats. Um, your party's not in power anymore, and first off, that it's not like that matters. That doesn't matter at all. It's on one party, but we're we're looking at this from the surface. But imagine being a leftist right now. I mean, Nick Fuentes is gaining a bunch of support. Can we talk about Nick Fuentes real quick? I didn't intend to talk about him at all on the show, but I think I have to now. I did bring him up. I would love an army of people to support me, like Nick Fuentes. I mean, this guy has dealt with everything in terms of censorship, getting kicked off of a bunch of platforms, debanked. All his banks were just taken away. Poof, gone. Guy only is able to use cash. He can't go on Chase. He can't use Huntington, American Express, anything. He cannot use a bank. All the big banks. He was even talking about getting banned from a lot of the private ones, a lot of the small banks. It's very interesting. But I mean, I see his content more and more. And it's just quite fascinating how he has like an army of people that will show up and support him whenever, wherever. All 50 states. It is absolutely crazy. He's an interesting figure. An interesting figure, I will say so myself. I don't support, I don't want to say I support anybody because you never know now. But it's just quite fascinating how somebody like him has dealt with all this censorship and stuff like that. And once again, he's on Twitter. And so I see him more and more. And it's just quite fascinating. So, maybe he becomes the president one day. Is anybody really ready for that, though? I don't think anybody understands this, so it's a good thing that I lay this out for you. For the people in the audience that might be watching that are on the left, which there's probably not many of you if you're here, but nevertheless, for the people in the audience that might be watching on the left, I just want to prepare you for the next 2 decades, 3 decades, 50 years, 60 years. Because what has happened in the past 10, 15 years is what you've done. You've completely villainized masculinity to the point where I did see Snapchats, I saw TikToks, I saw interviews, I saw many shows on the internet where it was all these feminine men and women talking about how masculinity was bad, and actively they would have young men in front of them, and they would say, what does masculinity mean to you? And they would give a good answer. Nothing bad, nothing toxic, but everybody was being preached, if you're a young boy growing up in the past 10, 15 years, how masculinity is toxic, and the brand toxic masculinity became a thing, and toxic was automatically attached to masculinity, and being the provider, being the lead of a family, if you're a man, raising children, doing anything you can, putting your family ahead of you, was all of a sudden villainized. And let's be charitable here. There are some aspects of some men, just like some women, nobody's perfect, that are toxic, yes. The guy that wants to get in fights all the time, right, when he's hammered. Of course that's toxic, but I mean, let's be honest here, there's also a lot of negative things to femininity. And we don't even have to go into that. You could just put it in the comments. But the point is, you villainized an entire generation of men for damn near 2 decades, a decade and a half. We'll say decade and a half, with the wokeism stuff. Let's not even give it a name, right? We'll call it over political correctness. When you went so politically correct to the point where men and women, it was like 50 genders. And any man who pointed this out was racist, sexist, homophobic. For a decade and a half, you were bullying this generation of men, not just white men, all young men, who would naturally, if there wasn't this craziness in society, would naturally assume the role of leader of their household, leader of their respective fields. And now you just bullied them for a generation or a decade and a half and said how they're evil, they're toxic. What they were taught growing up was then conflicted with what they learned after age 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, etc. Two very different things. And so when you have these dreams of being a leader of a family, a father, um, a masculine person, and they take it away from you, or they say that what you want is wrong, you inherently are evil. That's what they say, especially if you're white. But even non-white males that make these same points, they call them these same terms, and I don't really think people are ready for somebody like Nick Fuentes. Do you think Trump's bad? You realize when you bully an entire generation of men, and you say that they're toxic, you say that they're evil, they're not going to want to side with you. That's why they voted for Trump, because this party, this Democratic Party, but these people on the left, they bullied, once again, an entire generation of people. So don't think that these people are going to like you. They hate you, realistically. So, man, don't be surprised when you see everything turning the other way. If you thought the left-wing authoritarian government was bad, if it was even authoritarian, it could have been. That's up to definition, though. If you thought that was bad, though, good luck. Good luck, because I guarantee you the right wing, that whole pivot switch, what's another word for that? Pendulum switch? Pendulum flip? I guarantee that's worse, man. I'm telling you right now, nobody's ready. Nobody's ready. I'm not even saying I like it per se. I'm not even supporting the move. I'm just saying good luck. Good luck. It's going to be very interesting. Speaking of interesting, though, who knows of this actor, this Hollywood actor? His name is, I'm not even going to try to pronounce. Yes, I am. Djimon Hounsou. Djimon Hounsou. It sounds like vagina. Djimon Hounsou. This guy, this actor, I really hope I'm pronouncing his name right. You remember him from Guardians of the Galaxy. And I'm not sure what other movies he was in. But he's saying that he's been struggling for a long time to make ends meet. So I personally don't know. I came into this without any bias, but let's hear him out. And like I said, he's saying he's poor. So let's see.
I just came off the boat and off the streets where Steven Spielberg, used me for this film, and even though I successfully did that, they just didn't feel like I was an actor for whom we should pay any respect to. So this conceptual idea of diversity and all that, it still has a long way to go. Systemic racism don't change like that anytime soon. I mean, I'm still struggling trying to make a living.
After 30 years in this business.
What? Is that true? Is he still struggling to make a living? Hold on. Time out. What's this guy's name? Djimon Vagina Hounsou. This guy said, in wokeness, said his net worth is $4 million, but I'm not sure. Hold on. He said he's still struggling to make a living here. Djimon Hounsou net worth. Let's go here. If it loads. If it does load. Here we go. Okay, so Djimon net, $2 million. He says that $2 million net worth, yet he's struggling to make a living. That's quite interesting. I don't know if 2 million's struggling. I mean, certainly for the people that live in the area that I live in, you're very much well off. In fact, you're one of the elites at $2 million in this particular part of the United States that I live in. But granted, that's not a lot. We're like the butthole of America here, but I don't know. Maybe I'm missing something. 2 million to this guy might be struggling, but to me, you've made it. I mean, to the average American person, you've made it. Now, like I said, this guy lives in Hollywood, so he is obviously delusional by default. But let's see, first off, if he mentions his $2 million net worth as a part of why he's struggling. Maybe that's not enough for him. I'm not sure.
After, well, let's speak, 30 years, let's say like maybe the first 10 years was really trying to, sort of acclimate myself to the...
Why are they sitting so close either? Can we talk about that? This is an interview. Like their knees right here, their knees are almost like touching. It seems like it would kind of be uncomfortable. It's a little bit too personal of an interview for me personally. But like I said, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm the bad guy. Let's continue.
To the industry.
And establish yourself.
And establish myself. I've been in this business and making films now over 2 decades, and still, with 2 Oscar nominations, been in many big blockbuster films, and yet I'm still struggling financially to make a living.
Here's what I say to that, and correct me if I'm wrong here, but life comes down to a set of choices. It's what I always heard growing up. Life comes down to a set of choices. Really, it's not a lot, but I'm sure making the choice to become an actor wasn't the best decision for this guy. Why would you choose to become an actor when you know for the first decade, like this guy is saying, for the first decade, you will not make any money. You will not get any opportunity. You will not get anything. How are you so desperate for attention that you want to see yourself in a movie? You could just be like me and be desperate for attention and start a podcast for free. That's all I'm saying. I do not have to sell my soul. The only thing I have to try and market to is the algorithm and the viewers, obviously, but the algorithm. If you don't have things for the algorithm that the algorithm will like, you're going to get spit out and you're not going to benefit from that. But going forward, like, this guy wonders why he's struggling financially, but he's an actor. You have to rely on an industry to get you roles. That is crazy. That's crazy. Why not just be like myself and create your own thing? Why can't you do that? It is free. This mic was $90. And I hear from the internet in my comments section sometimes, they have to make podcasting equipment more expensive. Fuck off. Respectfully, fuck off. It's a time. I get it's a joke, whatever. And for some people, it's not a joke. But this guy right here, he's talking about struggling financially, and his net worth, right here, it's $2 million. It's $2 million. You are not. To the average everyday person, you are not struggling. Maybe in your circle, because yes, I haven't seen him in a lot of films where he's the lead. I've seen him in a lot of supporting roles, but let's be honest about this here. Life is a set of choices. You went into this industry knowing that you probably wouldn't, there's a good chance you wouldn't make it, and yet you're crying about how you're struggling financially, and you're blaming systemic racism. But my brother in Christ, you are worth $2 million. $2 million. Where I come from, you are one of the elites. That's crazy. I don't, literally where I come from, you are one of the elites. I just don't get it. I don't get it. The gall of some people in Hollywood, you know what I mean? It's just, these people are so delusional. It's insane. I don't know, man. This guy's speaking of somebody else's delusion, I want to talk about this too. Bill Burr recently went on Jimmy Kimmel, and he was making fun of everybody on the internet that said the wildfire was a tragic mishandling of everything, which was, first off, he was making fun of the people who were complaining, and rightfully so, about how there wasn't any fire in the water hydrants and the basin of the dam or whatever that was called, the water. But anyway, the point is, there was no water, and he was making fun of all the people that were criticizing how the wildfires in LA were handled, right? Look at this, man. He was on Jimmy Kimmel the last night, and literally going after these people on the internet that were staunchly criticizing all of how the fires were handled. Just tell me if this sounds like a hardcore leftist to you.
Thanks. Very good to see you. I heard you had to evacuate your home.
Yes. Like most people, I had to. I got lucky, the winds moved, but, the fire was coming and all that stuff. So I feel lucky.
Are you guys back in?
And I think everybody did a great job.
Yeah.
Unlike the internet,
Yeah, right. I know. It's right.
Bill thinks that everybody did a great job. Bill thinks that the Los Angeles mayor, who was in Ghana, when the fire broke out. At a wine tasting, I think. No, at a wine party or something, a cocktail party. She was at a cocktail party celebrating the new president of Ghana. Cool. While the fire was breaking out, while her people were dying, her city was on fire. But yet Bill Burr thinks that she did a fantastic job. There was no water in the fire hydrants. There was a fire. There was a fire and there was no water in the fire hydrants. You don't think that that's a massive mishandling of how this whole thing happened? What? Continue.
Oh my God, all of these fire experts. Why didn't you just fly a helicopter into the ocean and then just, I don't know, because...
All right, that's just stupid. I wasn't seeing anybody saying that, flying a helicopter into the ocean and getting water from... That's stupid. Not what we were talking about at all, Bill.
The 100-knot winds? You want to do that? You want to do that at night, you lunatic?
First off, look at this. Look at his double chin. It looks like Bill Burr has gained some considerable weight over the past couple years. I think one of the main reasons, I mean, look at him. He's looking a little bit bigger. Looking a little bit bigger. And one of the reasons is because he's living in leftist California with all of these horrible... He's also married to a leftist too, so I'm pretty sure that's not helping. I mean, he doesn't look well.
How are you?
This was definitely mismanaged.
That's a big word we're hearing now.
Mismanaged, like some idiot on the internet knows how to manage the worst fire in LA, sitting there in his under...
I think one of the ways that you could have managed it a little bit better, and correct me if I'm wrong, because I'm just an idiot from the internet, like he's saying, is to put some fucking water in the fire hydrants. Put some fucking water in the fire hydrants. Maybe that's a start, but I'm just an idiot from the internet. I don't know. What do I know? I don't know anything. There just wasn't any water in the fire hydrant.
Underwear. You know what? Looking at the footage on the internet, I have determined that this here was mismanaged.
No, it's not like the dam that was having all of the water flow from Northern California was cut off for the sake of a couple fish that were endangered. That's all. That's why this happened, because we had to save, or they had to save a species of fish for the Native Americans that were living up there. Is that not crazy? Can we pull this up? We're going to pull this up because that's how crazy this was. Gavin Newsom, he cut off this dam. They had all this water flowing from Northern California, I believe. Here we go. So, real quick, this was the largest dam removal in the United States history because native tribes tried to save the fish. This is why you had all of the wildfires and why they couldn't get all this water to Los Angeles.
Largest dam removal project in U.S. history and one of the most significant, if not the most significant, water restoration project, bringing back salmon and steelhead into this basin. This project could not have happened without extraordinary partnerships with tribal nations and, of course, our partners in the North and Oregon. We just finished a celebration with the Secretary of the Interior and our tribal council and tribal leaders, and I couldn't be more proud as a Californian, and I couldn't be more proud as a father, because my kids and their great-great-grandkids will have the opportunity to see something that, well, has been here since time immemorial.
Yeah, and as a result, they won't be able to see Los Angeles, California, because the majority of it's burned down. So congratulations, Gavin Newsom. Not a good governor, not a good there's no good politicians, but certainly not a good politician at all. Just not. And Bill Burr can make fun of people on the internet all he wants, but I'm pretty sure he doesn't have a house. So say what you want, and maybe he does, but nevertheless, it's just I don't know, the gall of the people in Hollywood to continuously just lecture the normal everyday person when the normal everyday person in this particular scenario was making a decent point, truly a decent point. But once again, what do I know? I am some internet idiot. according to Bill Burr. It's just it's fascinating to see how people in Hollywood could look down upon others. Anyway, so speaking of something that you could definitely look down upon, because there's certainly a lot here in this particular story, Jason Kelsey's wife, Kylie Kelsey, says they are considering giving their unborn child a gender-neutral name. Quote, "We're doing a little crossover action." My gosh. I feel like we have to lean a little bit towards those sort of gender-neutral names for our fourth. What? Is this not the number one podcast in the world now, this lady? Is she not that? I thought I was being told that she has overtaken Joe Rogan for being the number one podcast in the world. Which I couldn't name the podcast. I mean, good for her, God bless her. But so, yeah, man, I don't know. God bless her. Okay, God bless her. But it's just, I mean, look at that. A beautiful family. Nobody doesn't like this family. I'm not shitting. I'm just thinking, isn't that a little weird that you're just saying, oh yeah, and maybe this was taken out of context too. Let's give it the benefit of the doubt, because I really like Jason Kelsey, and I have nothing against Kylie Kelsey, but it's just a little bit weird. Once again, maybe it was taken out of context. I couldn't find the video. So, it's just odd. It's just a little bit odd that you're saying, oh yeah, we're doing a little crossover action. Because when I think of crossover action, I think of male to female or female to male. But this is her definition of crossover action. And she's going to be a mother of 4. She's a mother of 3. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? Maybe the baby comes out trans. I don't know what to tell you. So we'll see. We'll see. But it's very interesting. And I know people on the internet have gone ablaze, of course. Right? Everybody on the internet, most people, the loud people, are going to react to everything. Shad, I miss you. I wish that you were recording this episode with me. It was going to be a banger. And now it's less of a banger. So I miss my my running mate today. It's going to be sad doing the majority of the rest of this episode without you. So, but speaking of somebody that's sad, I don't like Marco Rubio. I don't like him because I think he is a warlord. I'm not a warlord. I think he's war hungry. I think he's really war hungry. And I think he's really war hungry. I think he wants war. He wants war with Iran. And that's all he wants. All Marco Rubio wants is war with Iran. And so here he is calling globalism a dangerous delusion, which ironically he's working for the globalists, and emphasize the importance of national sovereignty. We're not going to play the whole thing, but I kind of want to rip him to shreds. I just want to. He's a neocon. I want to rip him to shreds. I want to completely eviscerate what this guy's saying here, because he's being confirmed for Secretary of State, which he shouldn't be.
Out of the triumphalism of the end of the long Cold War emerged a bipartisan consensus. And this consensus was that we had reached the end of history, that all of the nations of the world would now become members of the democratic Western-led community, that a foreign policy that served the national interest could now be replaced by one that served the liberal world order, and that all mankind...
Look at his ears. Look at this ear. You don't see people my age with ears this big. Look at those ears. I want him to turn. Look at that. Look at these ears. Holy shit. Look at this. Look at these ears. He looks like the Green Goblin. Can we pull up the Green Goblin's ears? I'm not going to. Maybe I'll put it in a short. Look at those ears. Holy shit. That's like a third of his head. I mean, you can't see. Mine are definitely smaller than his. Holy hell.
...and to abandon national sovereignty and national identity and would instead become one human family.
Is he even a real person? Is he an alien? He may be an alien.
This wasn't just a fantasy. We now know it was a dangerous delusion. Here in America and in many of the advanced economies across the world, an almost religious commitment to free and unfettered trade at the expense of our national economy shrunk the middle class, left the working class in crisis, collapsed our industrial capacity, and has pushed critical supply chains into the hands of adversaries and of rivals. And
I can't even... I think he's making a good point. I just can't focus on it because his ears are so big. Can we look at this one more time? Look at his ears, dude. Look at this. I can't focus on it. He's actually making a point that I happen to agree with on the surface. I don't know if it's the truth or not, but he's generally making a decent point. Okay, here's something that I really did want to talk about today, and I'm glad I found this article. So, we have been talking on this show about RFK and how he wants to get all of these harmful chemicals out of the food. And one interesting thing that I saw today, and I want to share with you guys, is this article from the New York Post. So I saw this, today is Wednesday, the 15th, and I saw this article pop up probably 1 o'clock, 12 o'clock noon. I saw this alert on my phone, and this got announced. So the U.S. right here bans popular red dye from foods 35 years after it was banned in cosmetics. It would only be us. It would only be our country. They take so long to ban all of these toxic chemicals from food when we knew they were bad for you. 35 years after it was banned in cosmetics, the only way you can ingest a cosmetic, besides if you're a bumbling idiot and you put lipstick in your mouth or something, is through the skin. But this is insane. It took 35 years. The FDA today has issued an order today that will ban red number 3 from food products and ingested drugs. The dye, which was approved for use in 1907, has been banned in cosmetics and topical drugs since 1990 over evidence that it can cause cancer. Nice. Its use in food is already banned or restricted in Australia, Japan, and countries in the EU. This would make sense, though, because we're always a couple steps behind the EU and a couple years behind in terms of drastic change. Red number 3 is commonly found in candy, gum, and cookies, including Brock's candy. Bratch's candy? Brock's, is that word? Brock's candy corn, Betty Crocker, sprinkles, and strawberry and sugar. None of which I'd eat or drink. But they have a nice, I can taste this picture, a nice picture of a bunch of different candies. The FDA today issued an order that will ban red 3 from food products and ingested drugs. Here's something that's really interesting, though, because I was reading this. And it's ironic, though, because today, this article, for you guys, the article was published January 15th, 2025. But then they say food manufacturers will have until January 15th, 2027 to remove it from all products, while makers of ingested drugs will have until January 18th, 2028. I thought these drugs caused cancer. If that was true, then why wouldn't you take it off the shelf tomorrow, today? Why wouldn't you take all this stuff off the shelf today if it causes cancer and you're telling us that you're going to remove it from the food? One reason is because they don't care. They don't care. Corporations don't care about us. These corporations just want to make money. They want to have that buffer period so they can continue to make the money until they find out how to funnel all these chemicals into something else to keep all of these food products on the shelves, so then we can continue to be sick and not realize what they're doing to us and not realize what's going on, and that the Republicans and the Democrats are the same one uniparty, and that it's ultimately created so that one particular group of people can have control over the entire world and rule. That's it. That's it. So I have Diet Coke right here, and it's probably has these chemicals in it, but it's great. One thing I will say, though, I do not anticipate getting addicted to Diet Coke in 2025. It's been 15 days, and I created a terrible habit. Really bad, but it tastes so good. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? At least I'm not. What are you going to do? The new ban is based on the delineating clause of the Federal Food, Drug, and Cosmetic Act, which was enacted in 1960. The delineating clause prohibits the FDA from authorizing any food or color additive that has been found to cause cancer. Hypothetically, hear me out, why not just eliminate it tomorrow? Eliminate it tomorrow. Why do you have to take 2 years? It costs no money to take these things off the shelf. Well, maybe to them, to their bottom line, which is why it's taking so long. But literally, you can just do it yourself. Just take it off and throw it away. It's fine. It's killing people. It's literally killing people, but it's going to take 2 years for you to take this off the shelves completely. It's crazy. It's the whole bureaucracy of everything. Here you go. Quote, the FDA cannot authorize a food additive or color additive it has been found to cause cancer in humans or animals. said Jim Jones, the FDA's deputy director for human foods, according to NBC. Evidence shows cancer in laboratory male rats exposed to high levels of FD&C, red number 3. Here's a ring pop. If you like ring pops, it's in your ring pop, and they're not going to take it off the shelves immediately. They're going to wait 2 years. So if you contract cancer from these things in the next 2 years, then you're shit out of luck. But after 2027, you won't be able to anymore. It's logical. That sounds logical, right? You would think it's a logical thing. These people. The move came in response to a petition from the Center for Science and Public Interest and 23 other organizations, which included data showing male lab rats exposed to high levels of Red 3 got cancer. However, the FDA noted that studies in humans and other animals did not show the same side effect. Of course, because they want to make money. They are in bed with these big corporations that give us the food, that pump us full of the drugs to distract us from all of the shit that's really going on. So all we'll do is we'll focus on things like pro sports and we'll focus on all of the other garbage in the world, and we'll keep our eyes off of what's actually going on. Isn't that crazy? That's why you're watching this video, because more likely than not, you're tired of being constantly targeted by all of this stuff, these ads. You go to Times Square and it's just one big ad everywhere you look. Everybody wants you to subscribe to something or buy something. It's all this corporate capitalistic thing, and I'm a capitalist to an extent. These people, they just want to exploit the cogs in the machine over and over and over until they're finally worked dead. That's what they want. And so that's why it's taking 2 freaking years. It's crazy. I'm fired up. I'm fired up. Why is it going to take 2 years? How? If they literally say, it's killing you. It is killing you. This is killing you. But we're going to wait 2 years. And then we're going to take it off the shelf. But for the next 2 years, it's going to continue to kill you. And everything's going to be fine. I just don't get it. This does not make sense at all. At all. There have been public calls to restrict food dyes in food for years. Well, congratulations, because it's going to take another 2. How am I even doing? Is being doing a solo episode for the first time in a minute. I think I'm doing all right. Could be better. Everything could always be better, though. But I don't think it's too bad per se. I don't know. What do you guys think? Should it be something that I don't do? Because generally I would like to say I'm having fun. I think I am having fun. So, but we got a lot to talk about still. I mean, we're like 40 minutes in, roughly 40 minutes in. It's been. It hasn't even been. Here's something I do want to talk about though. It hasn't even been a bad news cycle. I can't talk for shit. You all know Harry Sisson. Who doesn't know Harry Sisson? Harry Sisson is Harry Sisson is one of the Gen Z influencers that was proved to be paid by the Biden administration to make TikToks and Instagram Reels and things of that nature to promote the most disproved, is that the word? The biggest disappointment in presidential history. Worst presidential administration in modern American history or U.S. history, just plain U.S. history, not just modern U.S. history. But Harry Sisson made a TikTok recently, and it was talking about shooting a gun for the first time. And we love Harry Sisson, not for his views. His views are trash. But we love Harry Sisson because he's very entertaining. So please enjoy this TikTok of Harry Sisson describing to the viewer, the audience, his first time shooting a gun. Here we go.
I shot a gun for the first time today, and I've always been told by Republicans that after the first time, I'll be in favor of guns and I'll want more guns. But
you can already tell where this is going.
For me, it was the exact opposite. I realized how powerful these guns are, and
I've always been told that the first time I have sex with a woman, I'm going to have sex with her again and again and again, and eventually I'm going to want to have sex with all women, but instead I wanted to have sex with a man. That's how you sound. That's how you sound, Harry. That is how you sound.
At a moment's notice, they can be used to take someone's life. And
look at his face. He's ready to take it right out. Oh, look at that wide open mouth. He's just I should do this with people more often though, because the solo podcasts are really anyway. So continue on.
And the fact that in many states in this country, you can walk into one of these stores and 10 minutes later walk out with an AR-15 is absurd. This experience made me want more gun control, not less.
All right, so he's actually not making a terrible point. He's not making a terrible point. What he's trying to say, and he says it in the most annoying, left-leaning, leftist way possible, is that he doesn't think that it's good that you can go into a gun store in some states in America and buy an AR-15 in like 10, 15 minutes like that. Not a terrible point. The more violent guns, non-violent guns aren't violent, people are violent, but the guns that do more damage, maybe they should require a little bit more of a background check, maybe. I can understand what he's saying, and it's not a terrible point, but to go out and say, Republicans have told me that once you shoot a gun, you'll never want to stop, and you'll want to have more guns, and I just hate guns, and I shot a gun for the first time, and I hated it. First off, did you? Did you really hate it? I want to see the video of Harry Sisson going to the gun range and just hating it. This is just a weird video to make. Like, nobody is talking about you. Nobody is talking about you. Your side lost. This right here is why your side lost. Because you are not relatable. This is not relatable. No normal person makes this TikTok, makes this video and thinks, wow, I'm relating to people. No, while the wildfires are going on, mind you, nobody who is having their house just burned down in California, in the Palisades, in Los Angeles, is thinking, hey, this is the life-changing content that we want. What are you doing? You lost. Take a vacation. Please. I'm tired of seeing you on my feed. Stop. Just stop. Retire. Stop making content. Go to whatever Ivy League college that you were going to go to and do whatever job. This guy looks like his parents and his family has old money. Go get the old money job that you were promised, that you literally have handed to you on a platter. Don't do this. We don't want to see you. Go away. Go. Nobody wants to see you. The disdain that I have for this person is, it's just, I can't even explain it. I get a little bit worked up. Because it's just really hard to understand why people like this voice their opinion. Like he shouldn't have an opinion. It's just Pete Hegseth got probably confirmed. He was at the hearings for potentially being the Secretary of Defense, and I think he's gonna get confirmed. I think he's got enough votes. But there were a couple of quotes from the internet, a couple of highlights from when he was in the process, when the hearings were happening for Pete Hegseth. So we're gonna play a couple. This one particularly was really funny. So this is Pete Hegseth. He's getting questioned by Elizabeth Warren, and he absolutely schools her. I'm not somebody that shills for the Republican Party, but this is pretty funny. Listen to what he said. Listen to the clap back. He did completely own her.
In other words, you're quite sure that every general who serves should not go directly into the defense industry for 10 years, but you're not willing to make that same pledge?
I'm not a general, Senator.
You'll be the
one. Come on, that was funny. That was legit funny. I hope they don't copyright this for that. If so, it is what it is. But that was legit funny. It was legit funny. He did own her. So that was fun. There's a couple more clips that we're gonna play of Pete Hegseth too. He did proclaim Jesus Christ as his Lord and Savior. So that was pretty cool to see. We'll play that for you as well. And I did like that. Generally speaking, I don't feel like enough people in media and politics and modern whatever, they don't do that. Who proclaim to be Christian, they don't acknowledge Jesus Christ as their Lord and Savior. So that's important.
Jenny and I pray together every morning. All glory, regardless of the outcome, belongs to our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. His grace and mercy abounds each day. May his will be done.
So good. I don't know, man. I'm really skeptical about a lot of the people in Trump's cabinet for not the reason that you would think. But I don't know. Maybe Pete Hegseth is going to be a really good pick for Secretary of Defense. Oh, what's this video?
Talk about dual loyalty. Anyone that wants to take the stage and talk about dual loyalty is dead wrong.
What's he talking about?
What this organization represents, what Western civilization represents today, is an understanding that Zionism and Americanism are the front lines of Western civilization and freedom in our world today.
Oh, you gotta be kidding. This guy wants war with Iran, too. I'm not very optimistic now about Pete Hegseth. You know who controls him. You know who controls him. You know who it is. And, it's very sad. A lot of politicians are actually controlled by Israel. Somebody who pointed this out on Joe Rogan's podcast recently was none other than Theo Vaughn, who seems to be leaning into this more, I don't even want to say anti-Israel, but really anti-corporate type of thing. And I'm really enjoying his content, I will say that. I mean, genuinely, really enjoying his content. And so Theo said this on Joe Rogan, and Joe Rogan kind of reacted how he's going to react. Now, he had a bunch of prominent figures who really love Israel on his podcast recently, a lot of billionaires. But listen to what Theo Vaughn said.
Yeah.
It's not true.
Well, why? I don't understand why left-leaning media, which is mostly Jewish, are calling people white supremacists, dude.
Jewish? Did you just say that?
Yeah, I just don't understand.
Left-wing media is mostly Jewish?
I mean, according to my Jewish friends, it is, you know? But why do they hate white guys?
It's just woke things, man. It's just virtue woke bullshit.
And then Joe turns it back to the mainstream woke conversation. And listen, I love Joe. Joe, this is my favorite podcast. But Theo's making a good point. I don't think that AIPAC, who funds like 99% of all the people in Congress, I don't think that one super PAC, which is what it is, which is sponsored by Israel, that funds all of these politicians and continuously controls. AIPAC continuously controls all of these politicians, and all of these politicians do the bidding of AIPAC through Israel, or Israel through AIPAC. And so when you understand that, when you get to that point, it's really frustrating. It's really alarming, because if China had a super PAC that they were controlling 99% of all of Congress through, we would be up in arms. We would be alarmed. Same thing with Russia, same thing with North Korea. But because it's Israel, and Israel is supposed to be our ally, but yet they're controlling what our politicians are literally doing, what they're voting on in terms of foreign aid, in terms of the proxy war, giving more military equipment, more weapons. It's very frustrating, because you turn around and you see Biden recently. I mean, I want to pull this up, actually. This is frustrating. So Biden recently announced that everybody in California that was a victim of the wildfires would get $770 per person. I believe it's per person, not per household, like they got in Maui. I could be wrong. But the really frustrating thing was it pales in comparison to the average Ukrainian and Israeli. So listen to this video, and I believe this is where he explains it, and then we'll be able to go from there. But this is really sad. It's really frustrating because they don't care about us, it feels like.
And I want to be clear. We're not waiting until those fires are over to start helping the victims. We're getting them help right now, as you all know. People impacted by these fires are going to receive one-time payment of $770, one-time payment, so they can quickly purchase things like water, baby formula, and prescriptions.
Okay. One-time payment of $770. Well, everybody in the comments, the internet, this is great. This is great. They are giving everybody that is a victim of the California wildfires $770 per person, is what they say. Oh, wait. Wait. Guys, look at this. Look at what we gave to Ukraine per Ukrainian, or what we gave to Israel per Israeli. We gave $175 billion so far to Ukraine. That is $4,268 per Ukrainian for a country that is not ours. It's not even really an ally. It's like they're just over there. For Israel, we've given so far, and counting, $12.5 billion, which is $1,344 per Israeli. If this isn't enough to radicalize you, what is? They don't care about you. They don't care about us. We are just cogs in a machine. $770 for the victims of California. I don't even know if it was per person, though, because in Maui, it was somewhere around like $600 per household. They weren't even doing per person because they don't care about those people. Those people are Americans, but they don't care about those people. They just care about their foreign interest. And I'm sorry to sound cynical on the podcast, but it doesn't feel like the people have somebody that's really acting on not our best interest. It doesn't feel like we have somebody that's acting on behalf of us. I don't put my faith in politicians. I learned to stop doing that a long time ago. But it's really frustrating because just when you think that we're going to have a change, you see somebody like Hegseth. And I know Hegseth he seems to be a really good person. But I believe that organizations like AIPAC and Israel are behind him and are controlling him too. I just want somebody that's going to act like Thomas Massey. I love Thomas Massey. He is one of the few people in American politics today that's not controlled by a foreign country, not controlled by a corporation. He solely acts out of his beliefs, and he acts for his constituents. And he's always the one that votes against the foreign spending bill, and he's really conservative. Wears a national debt clock. I believe it's like a pin. It's really cool. But he exposed AIPAC a couple months ago, like 6 months ago, on Tucker Carlson, and exposed that Israel is funding and controlling majority, 99% of all the politicians in the United States. And as a result, tragically, his wife was killed in a car accident, and that just happened mysteriously. It was weird. And it's a tragedy, but we should at least try to connect the dot here, see if there's anything related to that. Because it's a little bit fishy how he exposed, in my opinion, one of the biggest scandals in American politics, and yet nobody cares because Israel is supposed to be our ally. And yet, a short period after, his wife tragically dies in a car accident. That's weird, right? Is that not weird? I think that's a little bit weird. Nevertheless, people like Ben Shapiro will tell you it's a coincidence, and we don't have to get into that. Yeah, speaking of Biden, we just played that video. He's really taken a turn for the worst. I mean, I personally feel bad like everybody in America, of course we feel bad that Biden has like drastically declined like this. But I mean, he's forgotten even how to sign a bill into law. Look at this, man. This is sad. We'll play this video down here in the bottom left corner. Look at this.
Establishment of the Highlands National Monument. Here we go. Got to fill this in. I know, Santino, I'm trying.
Jeez, oh man.
The day of, in this hand, you'll fill in the dates here, guys? All right. I know that, but I don't want to.
How? He literally forgot how to sign a bill into law. And when you think, like, when you really look back, it's crazy that we haven't had a president for the past 4 years. And we may not have a president while Trump is in office. It might just be Netanyahu. But at least we'll have somebody that's functioning cognitively. But the point is, man, what a joke. What a joke that was played on the American people. I didn't buy in, but the majority of Americans bought into the fact that Joe Biden was lucid and that he wasn't senile and losing it. They kept him in a basement. Can we reflect on how weird that is? A little bit weird. He was not the president. He had a committee of people under him that we still really don't know who was making the decisions. Was it Jill? Was it Kamala? Was it Karine Jean-Pierre? It could have been. But it's just crazy when you really reflect on it that we had a president for 4 years that was in cognitive decline and got worse and worse and worse in front of us. And the media told us that he was fine. And Joe Scarborough told us that he was fine. But a couple weeks later, when it was obvious during that June debate, which was a little sketch, when it was obvious during that June debate that Biden was really, really bad. I mean, I never took the Lord's name in vain. I try not to take the Lord's name in vain. But 15 seconds into that debate, when Joe Biden was stumbling to even say his name, I said, Jesus, get him off the stage. It was terrible. Terrible. It was awful. I was embarrassed for him. And I don't really even hate him per se. But, I mean, he's an old man. He doesn't have his faculties. But I was embarrassed for him. I don't agree with a lot of his positions. But it's just like, oh my gosh, get him off the stage. He was a corpse. He was a corpse. Trump didn't even have to beat him. He beat himself in that debate. But he'll still claim that he could have beat Trump this time. Which is absolutely an embarrassment. I don't know how that this was able to continue. I just don't. It doesn't make much sense to me. But a lot of things don't make sense to me. This is a story which you can discuss its credibility or not. I personally will not discuss the credibility. I'll just talk about the story. Celebrity. You may not know this celebrity. You may do, or you may know it. Comedian Eddie Griffin. He went viral recently because he claimed that the Los Angeles wildfires are a smokescreen to destroy a massive pedophile ring and destroy all of the evidence for that. And so it's very interesting. I haven't played this clip yet, so watching it in real time, but let's see what he says.
Hello and welcome to another installment of NNN, where we give it to you straight, no chasing. Let's get right to it. LA is on fire. Now, a lot of people saying it's to cover up the pedophile trail, and all of a sudden the water ain't working. And hold on, 60% of the water rights is owned by this fucking couple. What's their name? Yeah, the Wonderful.
Yes, and guess what? Guess what ethnicity they are? Yes. It'll radicalize you. Just guess. Guess what ethnicity. I'll give you a hint. They're not black. They're not white. They're not Asian. They're not Mexican. They're Indian.
A wonderful company. It's owned by this husband and wife team. They own pistachio. They own Fiji water. I stopped drinking any of that around the motherfucking globe. Let them motherfuckers go broke. Feeding the pistachios and the almonds, all that goddamn water. Meanwhile, people's houses burning down, dying of thirst and shit. All these sons of bitches. And the regulators who allowed them motherfuckers to own 60% of the goddamn water. Fire.
I also do like how he was bleeping the F word and then he just said, it just all of a sudden after like 5 or 6 bleeps of him saying the F word, he just goes, it said F, he said fuck, and it was bleeped, and he goes, F the motherfucker. Like, he's just completely stopped, and he said, that's just funny.
Them motherfuckers too, goddammit. What the fuck is y'all problem? That is public water. We built the dam that's holding that water and all that shit with taxpayers' dollars. How the fuck y'all gonna sign it over to this goddamn couple? Sons of bitches. Let's pray for the motherfuckers out there that houses is burning down and shit. Unless they...
Nothing like calling to pray for people while saying the F word at the same time.
They pedophiles. If they pedophiles, fuck them. Let that shit burn. Cause I know what you're doing. You're burning the evidence up, sons of bitches. But we still gonna catch you. And let somebody do some research. In the rich neighborhoods, who had already left their house and knew that the fire was coming?
That's an interesting take. That's a very interesting take. Huh. Wow. That's a very good take. Who knew that the fire was coming and who left? Very interesting take. Huh. I didn't think of that. Listen, I had no clue who this guy was previously. Maybe I heard his name before, but I didn't know what he did. But that's was quite fascinating. Huh. Do we have anything else to talk about before we end it? I'm looking at potential stories right now. Apologize for the dead air here. We can end it with this. Maybe. Do we have anything else besides this? I don't think we have anything else. I can end with that. All right, folks. So speaking of the California wildfires, once again, if there was any conspiracy about what was going on, that can be confirmed right now. Gavin Newsom recently has been in the news. Gavin Newsom has went viral again because now he's discussing ways to convert all of this burnt land, all of people's burnt down houses, to government land and things for the government. So let's play it.
We're dealing with a myriad of issues. I was just talking to Josh Green, the governor of down in Hawaii, who had some ideas around some land use concerns he has around speculators.
What's this? Why are you acting like a bad bitch when you... What's this? Yeah, he's talking to the governor of Hawaii. You remember the Maui wildfires, don't you? Yeah, they told those people that, you're not gonna... You're not gonna get your land back. No, this is all government property now. Yeah, we'll give you the one-time payment of like $600. In California, it was $770. Not to mention that in Maui, that was per household. It wasn't per person. You got that payment per household. So, like, if you were a family of 5 and you had $600, you get about $120 per person. And congratulations, there's your payment. Oh, you're done. Like, these people don't get to keep their land. You know that, right? In Maui, like their land is now the government's. So Gavin Newsom was saying, "Oh yeah, we're just gonna, we're discussing how we're gonna take care of that land, and we're gonna get that land, and we're gonna make it the government, like a bad bitch." What are you doing, bro? Like, what?
Coming in, buying up properties, and the like. So we're already working with our legal teams to move those things forward and down in.
Please listen to this again and just look at how he's like so confident, so like bad bitchy about it. Like, what are you doing? Listen to what he's saying.
In Hawaii, who had some ideas around some land use concerns he has around speculators coming in, buying up properties.
Speculators buying up properties.
And the like. So we're already working with our legal teams to...
They're working with their legal teams because it's not lawful. It's not a moral thing. So they're working with the legal teams to kind of maneuver around it so they can get the land. What are we doing?
To move those things forward. And we'll be presenting those in a matter of days, not just weeks.
What an evil man. What an evil man. Not a fan of him. Not a fan of him at all. What an evil man. Yeah, man, I just don't. I don't know. I don't know how you could say that with such confidence. You know, we're gonna take all these people's land, and like a bad bitch. That's just, it's just it. So Trump gets inaugurated. We'll talk about it because I put him in office. This channel, me and Shide, actually worked quite hard to get him in office. So for the last minute or so, we are going to play a highlight reel of Trump's mentality in celebration, in honor of him coming back to the office. Now, if for nothing else, he will give us a bunch of entertaining memes and moments in the next 4 years. So let's really just celebrate and reflect on the entertaining memes and moments that we had in his previous 4 years.
Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi is dead. So you said you went to Delaware State, but you forgot the name of your college. You didn't go to Delaware State. You graduated either the lowest or almost the lowest in your class. Don't ever use the word smart with me. Getting a good picture, everybody. So
I haven't seen this.
Nice and handsome and thin.
Beautiful.
Mr. Trump.
I never attacked him on his look, and believe me, there's plenty of subject matter right there.
Why you gotta do that to Rand
What do you
Paul?
say to Americans who are watching you right now who are scared?
I say that you're a terrible reporter.
The total initiative relative to what we're going to do with more Border Patrol and more asylum officers.
President Trump.
I really don't know what he said at the end of that sentence. I don't think he knows what he said either.
That you may have.
I'm not concerned about anything with the Russian investigation because it's a hoax. That's enough. Put down the mic.
Brought to you by TikTok. TikTok's days are numbered. They probably are. Damn. We're just getting into it, man. I kind of want to keep going, but unfortunately, there's not much else to talk about. You don't want to see more clips of Pete Hegseth, do you? Do you? I don't. And I like Pete Hegseth, except he's probably a pawn of AIPAC. Actually, should I play this? There's no producer in the room. It's literally just me. So we can, I guess we can. It's 9:22. Yeah. All right. So AOC went on a rant, folks, because Congress, they recently voted men out of playing in women's sports. So biological males can only compete in men's sports, and biological females can only compete in women's sports, female sports. Well, a lot of Democrats voted against this. A lot of Democrats wanted men to play in female sports. They wanted boys, biological men, to absolutely dominate. This includes boxing, which means they were okay with the biological man beating the living crap out of a female woman, a biological female woman. We have to use biological so much nowadays to hop through the woke ABC gymnastics of all this shit when they want to distract us with shit like this. I'm playing this for you because it is a distraction. But this is what they're putting in front of us to take away from the fact that they're banning TikTok because it's not Chinese spyware. They're banning TikTok because they don't want you to be able to see what Israel is doing to Palestine. Don't you understand? Anyway, but this is AOC talking about that bill, and now that biological men can't play in biological female sports, she's a little bit pissed. And rightfully so, because these are the people that vote for her.
Thank you so much, Madam Chair, Madam Ranking Member. Here we are today, Republicans who have voted consistently against the Violence Against Women Act, who have taken away the right of all women to choose and have control over their own body, who...
I would agree with AOC, respectfully. But when AOC repeatedly endorsed putting something into other people's bodies that they didn't necessarily want to get put in their bodies. Now, if what you're thinking of is a penis, that's false, but that would be rape, first off. No, what AOC endorsed was the government forcing people to take an experimental COVID vaccine. But then again, that doesn't sound like it's very pro-choice, does it? Isn't that weird? Isn't that funny how hypocritical these politicians are? They don't care about us once again. But let's continue.
As women are bleeding out in parking lots across the country.
I think that's an exaggeration, first off. Can we say that that's an exaggeration? Are they really bleeding out in parking lots all over? Maybe they are. But I haven't seen an article. I haven't seen a report. Maybe it's true. But I haven't seen it. Maybe I'm dumb. I don't know.
Standing there, allowing us to die, now want to pretend today that they care about women. And why? To open up gender and, yes, genital examinations into little girls in this country in the so-called name of attacking trans girls. And to that, today, what we have to say are two words: not today.
Then they signed the bill into law, by the way. That's funny. So she literally said, to that we have to say, not today. And then they signed it into law. That's it's a little bit. Could that be a little bit funny? I mean, I hope that what she's saying is not true. If it's true, then that's terrible, and we don't have to joke about it. But for the sake of comedy, that's funny. Come on, you can't say that. Has a couple good points, but that's it. She's one of the most obnoxious people in modern American politics. This is the truth, and she'll be around for a long time. But that's funny.
The majority right now says there's no place in this bill that says it opens up for genital examinations. Well, here's the thing. There's no enforcement mechanism in this bill. And when there is no enforcement mechanism, you open the door to every enforcement mechanism. Trans girls are girls. And for all the folk
Are you sure? Are you sure? Trans girls are girls? Ugh. I don't know. I don't. Oh, I don't think that's anatomically, I don't know if that's correct. I just don't think that's correct. We're ending it here. It stops with us. It stops right here. That's crazy. There are still crazy people. Excuse me, I don't think AOC is controlled by AIPAC, but she certainly has not been mistaken for an intelligent person. Probably not. But yeah, that's the show. So if you didn't like the heavy political content this time, I generally apologize. Try to make it a little bit funny, but I don't do solo episodes often, so I greatly apologize. If that's not what you were feeling. But if you like the show, man, give it a thumbs up, give me a sub, continue to give our things thumbs up and just continue to push us up in the algorithm. We really appreciate it. Yeah, Trump gets inaugurated on Monday. Gonna be a good day. We got some things going on, Shide and I, that we can't really talk about yet. But merch is coming. We need a couple hundred more watch hours, then we're going to be able to give you merch. So that's very exciting. But seriously, thank you to the viewers. Everybody's still watching. Really appreciate you guys. The both of us really appreciate you guys. We're going to be back on Monday. But this will come out Thursday around noon. So once again, it's always a pleasure. Thank you so much to the viewers that watch our show, that continue to push us up in the algorithm and help us continually find more viewers. I mean, we really appreciate the hell out of you guys. So thank you so much. Have a good one.